Okay, we're going to be watching Garen playing Ana on Rialto. This is Masters 4 on PC, but they are in the middle of a loss streak, and they said after this one they lost one more, and they dropped down to Diamond 3. So I'm going to say this is probably Diamond 3, Diamond 2 in terms of the actual MR. Because looking at, I've already kind of pre-watched this a bit, and I do not think that the other players in this game are Masters, at least not majority Masters. All right. Huge win streak into massive loss streak. This game was my 14th loss. Someone helped me to see what I could have done better. Honestly, I'm deranking. Deranking is fine, but I need to know why. Any criticism is welcome. Please point out what I could have done better to improve my gameplay and game sense. So, having already done a pre-watch of the first half of this, I think the number one issue is that you don't know how to play against dive. And I think as we play this out, it'll become very obvious, and then I can kind of like focus in on exactly what the issues are. I'm going to check my sound real quick. Good. Pretty normal setup. I would honestly be fine playing in front, like where the Sigma is, briefly, just to see what they have before backing up to here. Because you want to know. So as soon as you see the Genji and a monkey, I immediately think this is dive. Alright? Now what does dive mean as Ana? You essentially have two strategies to play against dive. Strategy number one is to play on top of your team. Right? And that way, when you get dove, your team can help you peel/kill the divers very, very quickly. This works if your team is anti-dive. So, for example, if you're running like a Hog, Reaper, Cassidy, if the monkey tries to dive into you, he just dies instantly, right? Or like if you have a Mei and Symmetra and they try to dive you with Genji, like he's just gonna die. So that's the best strategy for playing against dive if you have that type of lineup. Option number two is to play really far away and just accept the fact that you will have worse LOS than you normally would. Which is okay, right? Because the thing is, dive has strong burst damage initially, but after that, their damage drops off immediately. It's not like in Brawl where they have like constant damage raining out, and you have to heal that. Sorry, for dive, still sick. For dive, you only have to worry about the initial burst, and when people survive that, you're typically okay. And often you can't heal the initial burst anyway because of things like Monkey Bubble or Defense Matrix or whatever it ends up being. So let's kind of watch how this plays out. You shoot the shield, bubble, I wouldn't bother shooting the bubble, I think it's a waste of time. I would also consider, for the record, jumping on top of this. Right? If you jump on top of this block, it'll get you a much better sight line to be able to see them. And it's not like you're worried about a sniper here, right? At this point, you should already recognize like what their lineup is. You have no chance of dying back here by the statue. So recognize what's going to happen next. Okay? If you're Masters, if you're truly Masters, you should start being able to predict how the game plays out. And my guess is, because of your strong win streak and then strong loss streak, is you're really good in some situations. I bet you're not super experienced in the game. I bet you're not like a 500-hour Ana player or anything like that. You're probably at a point where you have good general mechanics and you're good for typical case scenarios, but when unusual things happen, you're completely fall apart because you're like, I've never encountered this situation before. I have no idea what to do. And that's what I'm going to try to help you with today. So again, what's going to happen next, right? Is it that they're going to run it down main, right? And you're going to be like pocketing your Sigma? Probably not. They're going to do the exact same thing again, right? They just dove in high ground to clear off high ground and try to get picks. So your perspective should be, they're going to dive high ground again, right? They're going to dive high ground or maybe dive you, but probably dive high ground because it's really hard to get around this corner to get at you as long as high ground's here. So what does that mean for you? Option number one is to stay in a position to be able to heal high ground. So for example, right here. Option number two would be to say, hey, I'm just going to join my team high ground, play up here. 1 second. Sneezing. I'm going to join my team high ground, and then I'm going to help burst down the enemy when they come in, okay? And so, for example, you could play from over here, where you're unlikely to be dove right away, or play it from over here, which is probably smarter, right? Where you're perfectly safe from the dive, but you can still help your team. Playing low ground is okay. Oh, God, the coughing. Playing low ground is okay, but not ideal. I think that your best choice is probably to play right here, getting ready to defend high ground with your team. Now, you might say, okay, but this loses line of sight in the Sigma. But the thing is, your Sigma's never going to die here, right? There's no way, especially if your Kiriko up here, there's no way your Sigma's going to die against what the comp they're running. They're going to try to kill everyone but the tank first. So unlike a lot of other lineups where you just pump healing into your tank and then that wins you the game, in this situation, you have to be more strategic and protect your backline. So again, see Sigma's taking some damage, but not like a lot of damage, right? Kiriko's right there. Everyone's fine. And here starts the dive. That's a really bad jump by the monkey. Alright, Hanzo gets low. Right, you heal. Ashe is low. And you see that the Ashe is going to die here. But you had an opportunity to heal her if you were in the right position. Instead of being playing way up here, if you're playing back here, like I mentioned, you could have healed the Ashe already, so she would have 75 more health right now. Then she gets dashed, right? Then you'd be able to heal her again right now, and heal her again, right? And then she would have died here. And recognize that even though she's in the middle of two people, she's not going to die because they're all out of abilities, right? We already saw dash and we already saw jump. So they have no burst damage after that. And she probably survives there if you're playing here or you're playing here. Right? In fact, up here, if you threw a grenade, that's possibly like fight turning right there. So having your Ashe die there is going to lose you the fight. Then your Kiriko dies here. And for some reason, I don't think you take a shot. So your Kiriko's low, right? Critical, critical, critical. You're aiming, you're aiming, you're aiming, you're aiming, you're aiming, you're aiming, you're aiming. She's dead. Did you actually shoot? I want to see this. 2, 1, 10. At some point you shoot. I just don't. Yeah, you shoot but you miss. Right? So at Masters, for a target jumping straight at you like this, you should not miss that. That should be a 95 to 99% shot. And missing this shot causes her to die. Because if you heal her here, there's no way that Winston kills her, right? There's just zero chance. Like, mathematically, she cannot die here. So, that means that you just allow 2 of your teammates to die, which makes the rest of this fight irrelevant, right? Like, you're going to lose this fight because now it's 5-on-3. You get jumped, and then you die. So, also, let's start thinking about how to counter Winston, okay? Number 1 is to sleep him out of the air. Number 2 is to play more than 1 jump away. And you need to know how far Winston can jump. If you don't know that, you better start learning it, right? Go to the practice range or whatever, pop up Winston, and see how long you can jump by doing a 45-degree jump. You should know that here to here, Winston can get you. But for example, if you played all the way over here, Winston cannot reach you in 1 jump. He'll land like right around here. And the 50 burst damage, or 80 burst damage from landing is critical, right? He lands for 50, and also does the melee cancel, that does 80 damage to you. Plus, if he charges right click while he's in the air, if he's really good, which he's not doing, right? That would be 110 burst damage to you. You don't want to eat any of the burst damage. And if you stay far away, you won't eat that burst damage except maybe the right click. So, this is a very poor response to what is going to happen right here. Right? One's going to zap you, he's going to jump, right? And then also, you stand in such a way that you don't have the ability to get out of sight. I get it, because like the Ashe is there, but the Ashe is also jumping in the air, so I wouldn't worry about it. Then you miss a sleep dart, right? You bubbled, and then you throw a grenade, die. But like honestly, dying here is also fine, because your team's going to lose anyway. Probably. I mean, your DPS and Hansel still, and Sigma got 2 kills, amazingly. Actually, if you survived here, you probably turned this fight. Oh man, that's really close, actually. Damn. Wow, your team wins, even though you completely threw. Okay. Well, great. Very unusual, but we'll take it. So, again, a really good situation where you want to toss that sleep. Again, 2 things, right? Sleep him or stay away. Or play with your team so your team can kill him. None of which is the case here. So when you do the sleep, you want to do the sleep nice and early, right? Probably somewhere like at the apex of his jump. Like this is honestly, this Winston mechanics are not good. Like this is a terrible jump to do. Also, he's doing like a reverse as though you're a widow, which is not necessary. So you want to sleep him early, right? Why? First of all, that means that he stays far away from you. So if he gets woken, right, he'll be woken over here and not over here. A. B. It means that for future Winston jumps, he will think that you're going to sleep him, which will cause him to bubble early, which means that when he's jumping from here to here, he'll pop bubble like now to prevent your sleep from landing, and then land on you, but then he won't have bubble, which will allow your team to melt him down early. This is a very, very important technique, and is quite frankly going to stop you from advancing any further in Overwatch until you learn how to deal with Winstons. Like, the dominant theme of this match is that you do not know how to deal with dive at all. Like, it's as though you suddenly got degraded all the way down to, like, gold level skill, because you just don't know what to do. Okay. Coming in again. So, again, they're still running dive, right? You should push tab, right? Look at the scoreboard, recognize they're playing dive. You should not be playing this close for aforementioned reasons, right? This is bad. You want to play at least over here, right? To stay more than 1 dive away. Because from here, definitely he can reach this. He will not be able to get all the way over here. And little things like that can save your life. Alright, you eat the Hanzo shot, you should have immediately grenaded yourself. Alright, you're way too low. Very lucky the Hanzo didn't follow up and kill you. Alright, so now you're losing line of sight of people. I would personally recommend playing further back. I think playing over here is just fine. Okay, again, notice your Sigma's not taking any damage. Plus, your Kiriko is pocketing your Sigma as well. So your perspective should not be, oh man, like if I don't have the LS on people, like we're gonna lose. Your perspective should be, I just want to not die here to the next dive, right? So Winston jumps in on your team, and you just don't react to this correctly at all. So you see, like here, the Winston jumping in, your perspective should be to back up so you can see, first of all, get away from the Winston, and second, see who he's going after. Now, this is a much harder angle to heal people because of how tight it is. If you're standing over here, it's very easy. Then I think you completely whiff this nade. Right? Like, I don't think this nade does anything. I think you see 2 injured people in the bubble, and you try to throw a grenade, and it gets literally nobody. And, like, granted, the Hanzo's inside the bubble, but you should also recognize that the Hanzo is kind of dancing back and forth trying to kill the Winston. You know? Like, this doesn't feel like the right time to throw that grenade. If anything, you should have been shooting the shield. This is a rare time because everybody's shooting the shield right now. You slept the Winston, you should have immediately healed your Cassidy. You saw the Cassidy was low on your screen. Right? Right here, you saw the Cassidy was critical and go flying by you. After this sleep, you should immediately turn and heal the Cassidy. See how you're still not healing Cassidy? Still not healing Cassidy. Still, your Cassidy should be dead. 100% your Cassidy should be dead right now. It is very lucky that he's not dead. This is one of the reasons why I don't think this is a Masters level game, is because that was like an easy kill for the Genji. You should back up right now. It is not your job to walk into the bubble. I mean, there is a possibility you can walk up and throw the grenade, but you're like kind of far. Actually, with Rush, I think it's viable. But in general, I would say back away from bubbles and force your teammates to come out of it. And if they don't, they don't. So, let's back up here. Again, I don't know why you're stepping forward right now. This is not a good time to step forward. You want to be stepping backwards. You know they're going to die. There's no way the Winston's going to stand here and just right-click your team down. You have to have some level of critical thinking to try to predict what their team will do next. The Winston does not win fights by standing here right-clicking people. He's gonna dive. This is a low ceiling, which means even if you stand over here, the Winston cannot reach you. So there's no reason to be stepping forward right now. They don't have like any like long-range pick potential. It's just a Genji and a Winston right now on your screen. Again, walking forwards, taking a ton of damage. You eat that purple grenade because you walk in. Alright, and then you die. Again, very clearly, you do not know how to deal with dive at all as Ana. Playing Ana against dive is perfectly viable. You just don't know how to do it. Alright, pretty regular. I would be... Okay. So, you have Nano here, and then you pop Nano right now, which is unfortunate because your Cassidy does not want to fight. What do you see here that causes you to pop Nano? It's currently a 4 and 5, right? Your Hanzo's still coming to the point, and this area is almost never contested, right? This is not a good area for defense to fight on low ground because it's a 90-degree turn with no cover whatsoever, and the team can also kite you relatively easily. You're going to actually end up winning this fight, right? Because again, I've seen this, but I don't think this was a good Nano. Okay? I think this was actually a very bad Nano to do. And I don't understand what are the keys that you look into that would cause you to try to pop here. I would have wanted this cart to get all the way over to here, have the fight begin in earnest, and then nanoed somebody to go kill them. Right? That's what I'd want to do, not this particular situation. I think this is a bad call. You throw the grenade, it hits your Sigma, right? Again, it hits teammates when it touches them. This is like pretty sloppy. I would not expect this out of Masters level Anas. Like, you knew, like I knew right away when you launched this grenade it was gonna hit the Sigma. You know, this is not even close to possibly passing the Sigma. Like, I would have thrown it to the right or came to the right first and then tossed it. There's like 0% chance. Also, the only person that's hit is a Winston. I would try to toss it in the back line. It's confusing to me how you got this win streak to begin with. Like, I feel like circumstances must have been very lucky for you to get there because it doesn't feel like Masters level Ana play. Sorry. I mean, that's why you deranked, obviously. I'm just curious how you got to Masters to begin with, but you know, who knows. So your team wins the fight. I want to again go back and evaluate, like, was that a good nano or not, right? Did you end up getting good value out of this? Let's take a look. Well, Cassidy's nanoed. He high noons, right? Kills one. Just kind of shooting, right? Kills another. Cool. That didn't feel like a big nano, right? That felt like things that were going to happen anyway, even without the nano. I think the nano was just a signal for your team to, like, advance the attack. Okay. So, we're running it back again. Okay? Tank is really far forward for some reason, and the rest of the team's scattered. Why are you playing low ground? Right? This doesn't make any sense to me. You should already have rotated and then take high ground, right? Play up here, play over here. Probably over here is like best. Okay. Alternatively, if you don't want to do that, you could play from over here. Is like a pretty good spot. Like over here, also a good spot, right? You could even potentially play over here if you want like a little bit more of an offensive angle. You have a lot of options. Standing on the cart is the worst possible option that you could have, because as soon as they walk forwards, one jump and they're on you. Versus if you're high ground, they need to get that extra lift, so they have to get roughly to here before the Winston can jump on top of you. And if you're playing back here, there is no world that Winston's ever going to reach you. Like, your team would have to completely die first before that Winston will ever get to you. So I don't understand why you play in positions that put you in such danger. Like, it's like you don't even think about it. Like, I feel like your mechanical skills, I think, is pretty good. Like, your aim is good, right? Definitely, I can see this being, like, high diamond is not generally an issue. But everything else feels very far off. So flux is going to happen here. Your instinct should be to shoot the Genji, right? I don't know why you're not shooting the Genji right now to confirm the Genji dies. It is very surprising that you didn't do that. Instead, you tried to shoot the Winston, which is like irrelevant because he's going to bubble anyway. And your whole team dies, and there's nothing you can do about it. And now you're all going to die. Okay, so again, you should have shot the Genji to get the kill here, right? So, like, was he deflecting? He was, but I don't know that you realize that. And also, he can't deflect you and the Sigma at the same time. So, I would have gone for that shot, A. B, he's going to pop nano in a second, right? As soon as he dashes, right, up in the air, the universal signal for, I am going to nano blade, right? Or blade, at least, right? And hopefully nano will happen. So, when he dashed up, you have two options. Number one, go for the immediate sleep while he's in the air and falling. Two is wait for him to dash at you, and then sleep, which is an easier sleep to land, but potentially someone could die first and you could mess up the timing. But you don't go for the sleep in the air, which I kind of understand. But like now your team just gets wiped because you're really, really far back and you don't have a good angle to do anything. So it's tough. I don't really blame this fight all on you, but like you just ultimately can't really have much impact here, right? I think again playing over here, you have the opportunity to heal your Sigma, right? You would be able to shoot the Genji multiple times at least, make this a little tougher for him. But at this point, like, there's not much you can do if you let him sleep. But I think unlike the first fight, where I think a lot of it's on you, I think in that fight there's not too much you could have done differently. I think there are better habits you could have had, but I don't think it would have changed the nature of that fight. So, right here, we see Winslow goes in with Primal. You should throw the grenade. This is a good grenade, right? Unfortunately, Kiriko gets bumped. I want to heal the Kiriko as soon as possible. I do not want to be backing away here, right? Because Primal Winston is actually not that dangerous. It's very difficult for him to kill anybody unless you're pushed into a corner. Again, don't waste your time shooting the bubble, right? So this is like a little thing, but why did you walk forward, right? You should just stayed over here. And then when he jumps in, now you don't have the ability to heal the Kiriko. So you miss the dart, and you miss the grenade on her, and you miss this dart. So you miss two darts and a grenade on the Kiriko, which causes her to die. And once she's dead, the fight's basically over. Unless your team miraculously kills a bunch of people again, which is not going to happen. So your Kiriko has gone Brig to try to help with the dive, which is a great idea. You shouldn't have shot that dart. He was deflecting. That could have killed you. You see this Mercy go in for the res. Right now, at least you should have shot her. You didn't have sleep, but you could have shot her. Now you have to make a call where it's like, oh, this is a pretty tricky situation. I think that I would probably back up here and force the Winstons to try to dive into me and the Hanzo. And then nade both of us with the Winston and try to get that kill. So I think you generally speaking did that. You shoot the bubble. I think right now is actually a good time to shoot bubble, right? Bubble is reasonably low, and you kind of had to. You have nano available. All right. So right here is a big decision-making moment. You've killed 2. Reaper's low out there. You should have already been... The thing is, like, I don't know why you're shifting to the left. You should have already, when you noticed a Reaper was taking damage, right? You can see your Reaper's injured, is jumped on top of the cart to get clear LOS on everybody. When a Reaper's that low like that, he's not going to walk out into the open and try shooting people. He's going to play back. And so right now, it's kind of an interesting choice, is do you nano? So theoretically, this is a 5-on-3. I think I would have considered... Oh no, they capped already. This is irrelevant. Yeah, I wouldn't nano here. Yeah, your whole team is just kind of throwing by playing this far forward once they've already capped. Alright, so I think you make a big problem here where you stagger, right? Yeah, you should have just died earlier. So your whole team staggering, again, what makes me think it's not Masters, has resulted in that you only get one real team fight for last, right? This is like pretty much your only team fight, and then staggering in for the last point. You should have gotten one good team fight here, and then a second fight here, and then stagger in for final. So staggering yourself is a big problem. You pop nano here for no reason. Like, you already saw, okay. Your Reaper is not that close to them, A. B, your Reaper just used Wraith form, so you can't use Wraith to dodge, for example, sleep. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I guess he's definitely going to get a couple heals here. I think this is very lucky that the opposing team didn't do anything about this. Because he was pretty far away from them. I don't feel, I mean, I feel like Animans are going to disagree with me here. I don't like this nano. Like, this feels very random. I would have shifted back towards mid and waited for my Reaper to get at least to here before I pop nano. This feels like a lucky kill by the Reaper, and I think that it was relatively easy for the other team to avoid this death. So, I just want to analyze what I mean, Zarya's no bubbles was Zarya's mistake number 1. She should have been right-clicking the ground of the Reaper to slow him down. Yeah, I mean, she literally didn't do anything to him. Like, he pops it right here. Yeah. I don't think I agree with this. I think your team already kind of had the momentum there regardless. They do have all 5 up, but also this Ana could have, like, slept him. Yeah. Like, she hears him. Like, she hears the Reaper through the wall right now. She should already be aware, and she should have been stepped back. Like, she should immediately have slept this Reaper. I think this is lucky. I think at higher levels, I don't think this works. I think that this gets immediately shut down. I think this is a bad nano. It technically worked, but I think it's a bad nano. Yep, poking here is fine. I take back what I said about your aim, by the way. I do not feel like it's confidently Masters. We've seen a bunch of misses where your aim messed you up. See the Ana? Yeah, trigger. Yeah, just one shot at that point. I would also try throwing a grenade and then shooting, just in case. Because it's not like you're gonna need a grenade anytime soon. Yep, just shoot. Great. Nope. Alright, grab. Yep, you do a good job getting out of it. Blade, there's not a lot you can do. I would have thrown grenade though. Right now I throw grenade. Right? I would splash it against the monkey and then heal these two and then also injure the Genji and try to shoot the Genji down. I think one critical thing is that you need to die here or get out. Like, get out. Oh, man. That would have been a huge play to kill the Mercy. Right now, Mercy is one-shottable. One hit on the Mercy here kills her. You just give up and go for the Winston. The fight is over. You should recognize you just lost 2, and your Winston is super low, falling to the ground. There's no way you're saving the Winston. You should try to kill the Mercy here to turn to a 4-on-5 against the Trickle. Right? As you come back to the spot. That was a big mistake not killing the Mercy. Huge mistake not killing the Mercy there. And then now you make a mistake, which is you stagger yourself, right? Like, you should just died in the previous fight, just walked forward and died, and that would be better than what happens here. Like, again, Once at this point, you could have been like, okay, either just walk forward and die right now, or book it. You see how you come back out? This is a big mistake, right? Just leave. As the second that happens, just leave. Just leave and go all the way back to spawn, right? Those few seconds are what are going to get you killed here. Because you shouldn't be here. You should be here. And then you're probably going to get away. And, you know, they're gonna counter. There's nothing you can do to stop this. All right, so let's watch offense. I think offense goes pretty smoothly, I think. I would not grenade my Winston there. I would just heal him. Just heal him and then throw the grenade. Like, as Winston, if I'm standing here, I never want my Ana to grenade me. You know, like, I'm patient. I will sit here for another 3 seconds for you to heal me with your darts. I want the grenade when I go in right now. I want you to chuck a nade that lands right here as I go in. That is a game-winning play, right? You throw that in there right now, both of these supports are going to die. I'm going to hunt them down. Lucio dies first, and then I hunt down and I kill the Mercy. Grenading me back there is a huge waste of the ability. Like, anti-grenade is so strong, and it's so frustrating to me when Ana's, like, tossed away for nothing. This is a massive grenade opportunity. Oh, man. But you see, like, now it's no good. Like, right now, when your Genji is here, and he has the possibility to, like, do something, like, that's, right now, this is where a grenade would have been super helpful. But now it's too late, because now there's nobody to follow up. Except for Kiriko, just going in and trying to kill everybody. Great. Big plays. But again, without tank right now, it's hard for you guys to push up any further. Well, you can trade with their tank at least. So this is just kind of mechanics. So you've decided to try to take this challenge, which is okay. I don't know that I feel like this is a great play, but you should have been putting a grenade in like right here. But instead, you wait and you throw a grenade like pretty far. It does end up hitting the Cassidy, but I'm surprised you didn't toss it earlier. Also, you peek here with 1 bullet. You should have been reloading as you walked up. Right? So now that you get this juicy hit, you can't kill anybody because you have to reload. And then your Kiriko, you bait the Kiriko here, right? If this is like CSGO or Valorant, this would be like a mega bait. Your Kiriko's at half health, but she sees you go in, throws a grenade, so she assumes that you're tanking here, right? You're taking the fire, so it gives her a chance to try to follow up. Instead, you reload, back up, your Kiriko's the front line, and then she gets murdered here because you baited her hardcore. This doesn't feel like Masters gameplay. It doesn't even feel like high diamond gameplay, honestly. That's just sloppy. You should go for the Mercy here. Right? That's fine. Yeah. Great. Cassie's dead. So you're playing too close to the cart, right? Widen out the angle. Play over here. Right? If you're afraid of the Ashe, play this angle, and it's hard for the Ashe to get you. Right? If you're not afraid of the Ashe, you can play the right side. Alternatively, you could play like over here if you want to, but if they turn the corner, you really can't help them. And it's really hard to throw grenades that far away. As soon as Ashe takes high ground, yeah, I think it's the right call to play closer and underneath the top. Get the mini. I would get the mini. I would take the opportunity to get the mini there. But right now, you really need to nano your Winston right here, which is actually critical. Because I want to hit this point right now, right? I don't want my Winston to come back and for us to do this again. I know Genji has Blade, but like if your tank dies, the fight's over. So now you're popping Blade, and now your Genji's in a kind of a tough situation, right? Because now it's a 4-on-5, and your Genji has to clutch this. Can he do it? Good purple. Whiff. Yep, and he can't do it. I mean, it's really hard here for the Genji to do this. You know what I mean? Like, this is a really tough position to kill 5. Right? He gets 1, you know, and then dies. Like, it was possible. It was possible, but it's tough. It's really, really, really tough. And it doesn't feel like you understood that when you gave him the nano. It kind of is like, here, you do this. You know, it's kind of like playing hot potato, or like with like a live grenade that has like half a second left, and you just toss it to him, and be like, you deal with this problem now. I think it's a lot to ask for the Genji. I think you should just let everyone wipe, or just like stall here for your Winston to come back, and then pop Nano Blade. But because you popped Nano, your Genji had to Blade. Right? He couldn't waste it at that point. He had to Blade. So now you guys waste a bunch of time. Right? This is valuable time that you're going to need later. Winston goes Diva. This would have been a huge sleep if you hit it. right here, throwing that sleep, right, before he gets that jump off, or sleeping him out of the air, also viable, right? Those are like the super high value sleeps that you should be looking for. I think that grenade is like too early, but you see, like, they're purple, but they're also around the corner. And that's the thing that I also feel, is that you're not thinking about your team very much, right? You're just kind of worried about your own game. Like, you don't really have a good, like, perspective on, like, when your team can do something versus, like, oh, it's a good opportunity for me, but, like, who cares about you? There's like a self-centered nature. I wouldn't say selfishness, but self-centered nature to your play where you don't think about anybody else, which also makes me think that you don't play other roles very much. That's also what I feel here, is that you're kind of like, I don't know, like a support lifer or something, and you don't actually like recognize the difficulties of, or the strengths or weaknesses of the other roles and heroes, and like when are good timings for them. I would have walked forward and grenade right there. If he does that, like I'm just bursting him down and killing him. If he wants to fight our spawn, like, this is a foolish ulti from him. It's like, yeah, okay, he killed your Ashe, great, she's gonna be out in 10 seconds. And he wasted ultimate for that. Wasting your ultimate for 10 seconds is like the worst thing ever. You saw Dynamite, so you should walk forward, make sure you don't get blown up. You had the opportunity right here to throw a grenade to hit the Ashe. Right here, I would have thrown this grenade at the Ashe. You know, because like you're just in cleanup mode right now. You don't have to worry about saving anything for anybody. Like this fight's over. Cart's moving. So I would think about nanoing right there. So why do I want a nano right here? So first of all, it's a 4-on-4, but neither team has spawn advantage. In fact, your team is like slightly favored for spawn. They've clearly lost track of the Genji, and I've seen them use bubbles. Have I seen them use bubbles? I haven't seen them use bubbles. But regardless, I think that popping nano here and having him go after the Mercy stuck inside is a good call, right? Alternatively, he could use it to go after the Cassidy, who's way in the back and is not able to get any help. So I think you got some options here that would have been good for nano. That's sloppy. Gotta be quicker to react, right? She was already low when you were dropping. You already should be healing her right now. But then you missed the dart and you missed the grenade. Now you pop blade on a Genji, and again the Genji's like in kind of a tough situation, right? Because now he's got to fight 3 people all together with bubbles. Right? Still gets him. You're just not healing him. Right? Keep alive. I don't throw an aid there, right? That's not the time, because I know my Ryan cannot die now. I saw how much health his shield had, right? His shield was basically full health, right? Because it wasn't showing cracks or anything. So I know that he has plenty of health here, right? 1,000 health on the shield. He's not going to die here. So I don't want to waste the grenade right now because I have plenty of time to heal him. If I use the grenade, it's because I'm trying to kill the Zarya. I don't want to say Cassidy. The Zarya here with it. So I want to confirm that she doesn't have bubbles. And I want to wait until my Ryan starts swinging at her after he gets full health. Wait for that bubble, and then throw the grenade, and then we win this fight. So this is a bad grenade timing. So this is a weird peek here. There's no reason to go left. Go right. Right guarantees that you can see both of them. Going left right here the Kiriko doesn't know that, but like you exchange positions and then the Kiriko nearly dies, which forces out Suzu. And now you don't have Suzu for this fight. All you have to do is go right. Just like basic like positioning. Quite frankly, you're messing it up. Right? And stuff like this it costs you, right? Because now you don't have Suzu, and you might need Suzu in the very near future. This feels like a questionable sleep. I think you're going for the Moira, but it's not really on target. So I think you should have held sleep here. So after this bubble ends, I throw a grenade. Right? I think it's unlikely at this point that she has 2 bubbles at this point. And as soon as she's purple, I guarantee you the Ryan commits on her. Right? The Ryan / Genji / everybody commits on her after it's purple. You should 100% throw the grenade at the... Oh, man. The Moira here, normally, yes, killing supports. The problem is your Ryan can't hit the Moira because she's too far away. And your Genji's not going to want to dash into the whole team to try to kill this Moira. So if you just purple the Zarya, she's the only thing stopping you from capturing the point. I think you capped the point anyway. But, like, assuming they were able to contest the point, the correct call there is to kill the tank because she is the most overextended. You should still keep handling the Genji. Ryan's fine. Ryan is totally fine. Finish stealing the Genji. Because the Genji's not going to want to go in when he's at 150, 160 health. Right? The Ryan was totally fine. He had shield and everything. But also, why are you backing up right now? Right? The fight's clearly happening. Like, I know you don't know the shatters can happen, but there's no danger here, right? Your Ryan's already taking all the pressure. You should have been in front of the cart, and then if you're standing right here, you'd have a better opportunity to go and throw a grenade. At the minimum, you throw a grenade here into the front line. But because you backed up, you're out of position. I would shoot that bubble. Right? You just need her to die as soon as possible. I would shoot that bubble to make sure she doesn't kill anybody else. That's good quick scoping. I wish you did that more often. You're better at shooting enemies than you are at shooting teammates. Okay, because the replay's getting pretty long, I'm gonna actually run all the way to the end. All right, so let's kind of check on the situation. Okay, so you're defending. How far do they need to move it? Oh no, you're on offense. You're on offense. You need to move it pretty far in 1 minute and 11 seconds. So there's gonna be probably a couple fights here. Reaper's on you. Good sleep. Reaper gets away. That's unfortunate. That was an ill-advised push by your Rhine. On the other hand, I would say that I kind of get this because you're going to the left to heal your Rhine on the left side, and then he switches back to the right. But the second that happened, you should have been walking back to the right to get a heal. I think you get in. You should have gotten at least one. You should have gotten 2 heals here, because you shouldn't have stayed to the left when you saw the Rhine going back to the right. So you should have gotten at least 2 heals here, which would have prevented him instantly dying at least. But I still think it was a poor choice by the Rhine. Right, then your soldier just standing still in the car for some reason, gets obliterated, and now we're just waiting for regroup. So you got 2 fights left, maybe. Probably like 1.5. Oh. As soon as this happens, the Cassidy comes out and starts shooting at me, I would go into duel mode, right? Don't try backing up. You're not gonna. It's too far to get to the edge. I would immediately start AD strafing and duel out the Cassidy, right? I would also grenade myself to keep myself alive, right? Or grenade him. Either way, either one I think is viable. It's actually probably a better idea to grenade him to try to get a pick with your Genji, and trade, because trades are good for you right now. But you continue to try to run back in a straight line is what gets you killed here. So watch. Right, you start getting shot, you're just running backwards in a straight line and jumping, which makes you an easy target. Like, you got all the way to Masters. You should not be jumping to try to dodge attacks. This is like a horrible habit to have. It's not pretty regular. I wouldn't stand this close because the Ramatra punches are like barely stopping in front of your face. So if you move any more forwards, like you're gonna get wrecked. Like eventually, this Ramatra's gonna walk into you and things are gonna be bad. I would also recognize. So this is gonna be final fight, right? 10 seconds. So this right here, this sleep dart is gonna cost you the game. Let's think about this. Why are they running Ramatra? They're running Ramatra because Ramatra ultimate is like one of the best ultimates in the game for overtime because people have to leave the cart. Or have to go walk onto the cart, and then Ramatra ulti will hit all of them. So I am saving sleep for when Ramatra ulti happens. Instead, you completely waste this sleep right now. Even if you hit the Ramatra, who cares? Like, your team has to shoot him anyway. You know what I mean? Like, they have to move the cart forwards. I don't know what the thought process was behind this sleep. It's crazy. And so now, you have no sleep here. Okay? You're saving nade, which is fine. You nade the Reaper, which is okay. I don't know that I love that grenade, but it's like okay. Like I understand it. I think it's fine. I think for mid high diamond, I think it's okay. I think for masters, I think you save it. And here comes Ramatra ulti, and you have 3 seconds left on sleep. What are you gonna do now? What's your plan? Your soldier's visoring and everything. Like imagine if you slept right now, right? And soldier could just like crouch right here, and then you could walk backwards out of this. First of all, you shouldn't be this close, but like you could just walk backwards out of it, wait 3 seconds, and then continue the rest of the fight while you heal the Sigma, who hopefully wouldn't be purple. Like, you threw this by using that sleep dart. Okay, so recapping. I think there's a lot here. There's a lot here. A lot more than I expected. I mean, I guess maybe I should expect it because you lost 14 games. But there's more than I would expect out of a low Masters player, which again makes sense because you're not actually a low Masters player. Now you're a Diamond 3 player or whatever. Number one, you don't know how to play dive. So listen to the tips that I talked about in terms of playing dive, especially against Winston, and play differently against dive for sure. Right? You're way too close, right, and just not reacting correctly to dive. Number one. Number two is your aim for both healing and grenades is off. It's just not good enough for Masters. And there's multiple scenarios where you could have kept people alive with better aim, kept people alive and or gotten kills with better aim on your darts and your grenades. Number three, your sleep usage is in general not very good. You don't go for like the low risk, really high value sleeps. Like when I told you when the Winston was there, if you slept him, like he just dies, right? Because he was like super overextended in that scenario. So you don't really go for those sleeps. You don't save sleeps for when you need it, like at the very end of the game. All of that can be better. I think your nanos are bad. Like they happen to have worked in a lot of these scenarios. I obviously didn't see all of the offense, but like a lot of them felt like just not very good because you weren't waiting for your heroes to be your teammates to be in the right position to make maximum use of it. And then beyond that, I would say your general positioning of like maintaining line of sight and being safe, also a really big problem. Okay, cool. Hopefully that's helpful.